I, 25 female. Finally have my dad's respect, but I don't want it anymore. Since I was a little kid, my dad has had absolutely no respect for me, and it's just me. He was extremely respectful of my brother. However, with me, he made constant jokes about how stupid, ugly, and fat I was. If I got mad, I was punished for not taking a joke. If I cried, I was punished for being overdramatic. This started when I was about 6. My mom knew, didn't care. Even after I graduated college and moved out, I was treated like a child. Reminders to pay rent. I've never missed a payment. Snarky comments about my job. I found a decent job right out of college, but it wasn't salary, so it wasn't good enough, and advice about how a house would be so much more affordable than an apartment. If only I could stick to a budget, prepared for me by him, of course. The budget I created and was having no problems with, wasn't good enough. Even after moving in with my then boyfriend, now fiancé. Every conversation with my dad turned into a lecture about all the things I should be doing and should have accomplished by now. However, after getting engaged and taking steps to buy a house, everything shifted. My dad wants to be friends now. He calls just to chat, and his advice is friendly instead of critical. He invites my fiancé and I out, and wants to have fun with us. I hate it. This is what I thought I wanted for 25 years, and it's so uncomfortable. My fiancé and I make excuses to avoid plans, and rarely visit. The only explanations I can come up with are A. It took finding another man he respects, my fiancé, for my dad to respect me as a person, or B. I've finally proven my worth as an adult and earned his respect. But I don't want it anymore. It feels hollow and fake, and it has nothing to do with me, just my fiancé or adulting. I just don't know what to do. TLR, my dad started respecting me as a person recently, however, it feels hollow, and I don't know what to do. Freestyling here. You don't want it B. C. He didn't apologize. He breezed by everything as if it was all normal. You may not need an apology, but you may want one. You may not even want an apology, you may just want him to acknowledge how he treated you, how it made you feel, etc. In his eyes he assumed he was just parenting, and you turned out well. B. C of him and not what you have done. Let him know what's on your mind, say what you want. Your dad's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I don't have a brother, but I always envisioned this as what it'd be like if I did. He once made a comment to my mother about, you should have given me a son, when I was crying as a little kid. I don't talk to him anymore and I couldn't care less if he died. You don't owe your father anything. Congrats on your house and the engagement. Is this a sexist thing? Feels like he never wanted a daughter, but now that you're someone else's problem, he can connect without the responsibility. The only explanations I can come up with are A. It took finding another man he respects, my fiancé, for my dad to respect me as a person, or B. I've finally proven my worth as an adult and earned his respect. Unfortunately, A sounds more likely than B. Your dad had a set idea of what your adult life should look like, and now that you seem to be meeting his standards, he's treating you how he should have treated you all along. I absolutely don't blame you for not wanting his respect. You've had no reconciliation with him. All those years he owed you basic respect and never gave it. Now he's giving it, but he's still indebted to you. His good behavior now doesn't erase that shit. Also, he's shown that his respect for you, if not his love, is transactional. That's just not how good people treat each other. Him being nice now doesn't magically make him a good person overall. He'd still treat that younger version of you like shit. My father's relationship with his father is super similar. My grandfather had zero interest in being a father, wouldn't even let my dad call him dad in front of people until he was like 30 and had his own moderately successful videography group. It always made me sad to see my father so giddy over his shitty dad's sudden, conditional love and respect. Have more self-respect than my dad. Don't let your father just gloss over years of being shitty just because now he's decided you're worthy of respect. It merits a serious discussion in which he honestly owes you an apology. Your dad probably wants money, or for you and your future husband to let him live with you. Attachment disorder? Anytime my boyfriend doesn't answer my texts quick, I get personally offended and IDKY. Somehow it's a couple hours later and I'm genuinely thinking, he doesn't care about me, is life even worth? The man is busy, that's normal, I recognize that, but somehow that doesn't help me from stopping my feelings or why they occur in the first place. OBVSLY, this is extremely unhealthy. Unsure how to fix it. I'm trying to get into therapy, but I'm on a long waiting list. Smiling face with tear. I love your post. You're acknowledging that the issue is yours and you're owning it. I would communicate with him that you are having this issue. That it isn't his fault or responsibility to fix, but it's something you struggle with and are waiting to get therapy for. This may relieve some tension you're feeling. The good thing is you can recognize it. It took me a while to realize that, so give yourself some credit here. The main thing I've learned is I have an anxious attachment style due to past relationships that led me to question my worth. It might be different for you, but what's worked for me is keeping things that I love to do more in my foreground. Then suddenly I realize I haven't texted him back after a few hours, and he brought it up to me. I would suggest reading about anxious attachment styles and following a few IGs like The Secure Relationship. Try to think of some things you can do to distract yourself when this happens. Text your other friends, write a diary, pet your cat, go for a walk. Think of something that will make you feel good in that time. What therapy will teach you is some self-soothing techniques to help you calm yourself in these situations. I have this issue, but an ex would punish me by withholding talking to me. Basically, if he wasn't answering, it was considered a punishment, and now it's hard to get over. Ask to meet in the middle and have your partner send you updates on their day like, "Hey, doing XYZ, I'll be busy for a few hours, I love you." Initially I was the same, and honestly, I'm still working on it, haha, but the annoyance I felt in the beginning has greatly decreased. My partner isn't a huge texter to begin with, while I would text him all day, every day if I could, but we meet each other halfway. We don't text every day, but in exchange he makes sure to respond as soon as he can when we do text. Sometimes he forgets to let me know if he's busy after I ask something important, and I'm occasionally left hanging. It's a work in progress, lol. It all starts with communication though. Look up anxious attachment style. If you have Instagram at The Secure Relationship as a page I really love. Hang in there, therapy will help. Until then, we can't control others and we can't anticipate what they do or why, as we are not them. This sounds like rejection-sensitive dysphoria. Therapy is definitely a good idea, and it's great that you're so self-aware about this issue. Go for a walk. Read those books you've been meaning to read for a decade. Get a cat or dog. Do something. I guess I'm old school as well as old. But I remember my parents each going to work and not contacting each other, absent emergencies, real ones, all day until they got home. Work was work. Home was home. The few phone calls were along the lines of, "Don't forget to pick up." It worked for my parents' generation and before. It worked for my generation until so many people got text addicted. It can work for you. Try not texting him. Girlfriend, 23, wants me, 20, to sleep with someone else. So me and my girlfriend of 2 years just had sex. She told me she wants me to sleep with someone else before we get married and that it's a requirement. I told her flat out no. I'm not the type of person that just sleeps with anyone. I take it seriously that I gave my virginity to her to begin with. I waited until I found the right person I saw a future with. Her argument is that I told her in the beginning of our relationship that it wouldn't work if she didn't want kids or marriage, which is true. She said since it involves her body and emotions, what's the difference between what she asked of me and what I asked of her? I personally see a huge difference, and I don't think she would think the same way if I did it. I think she would regret it and hold a grudge over me just like you would anytime someone cheats on you. I told her it's like her turning around and giving me a knife and begging me to stab her with it. Now I'm on the couch for the night. I'm not sure what to do. Help. Don't do it. All of us know it's a trap. This usually means that she's already cheated on you. Talk it out with her. All good relationships are built on trust and acceptance. If she is forcing you to do something, put your foot down and tell her you don't want to do it. Try to work out a solution, and if she doesn't want to negotiate, it might not work out. That's an insane thing to demand of someone. It is so not the same as kids and marriage. You're not forcing her to get married and have kids, that's something you both agreed the relationship would progress to. What she's asking of you is to give up a personal sexual boundary. That is not acceptable in any way. Nobody has the right to demand anyone do anything sexually. If that's something she requires, you are better off without her. You absolutely should let her know that you would rather end the relationship than have sex with someone else. Stand firm on your boundaries. Why are you with this strange and unreasonable person? Does she drain your loads in a single slurp or something? As Admiral Akbar would say, it's a trap. Don't do it. Stick to your values. Just curious as to her reasoning why she wants you to sleep around? Set your boundaries clearly on what you are and are not okay with. There is nothing wrong in realizing that some relationships have hard stops that you cannot work around. My best friend died and my girlfriend seems cold about it. Where do I even start with all this? I have this black hole feeling in my stomach that feels as heavy as the sun. I'll start with my best friend that I've known for 20 years killed himself on Tuesday. To put things in perspective, I'm 28 and my girlfriend is 27 and we have been dating for a little over a month now. We have been acquaintances for 5 years though. This entire time I've been dealing with intimacy issues where I have to initiate everything. Kissing, hugging, sex, etc. Over the weekend we talked about this. She apologized and told me the last 2 BFs she's had over the past 6 years would show no affection towards her and that's why she's so reserved. We came to an understanding and I told her I understood and it's something we could work on together. Now fast forward to Tuesday and I get the news my friend killed himself. I'm a wreck and I leave work early and text the GF. She says sorry and asks me if I needed anything. I told her I don't know, I need a hug or something and I don't want to be alone right now. She tells me I can come over but I tell her I don't really want to leave my house right now. She says okay. Silence for 2 hours. I check her Snapchat and see she went to PetSmart to get her damn cat a new toy and look at the cats there. Her next snap was her at home playing with her cat. I text her and say it hurts that I have to ask you to come over. To that she says she has shit she has to do, and at that point it turned into an argument. The adult shit, as she put it, was going to a pet store, buying a cat toy and doing laundry at home. I expressed how I felt and said she was being cold for prioritizing buying cat toys and laundry over my feelings. I had to beg her to come over and just give me a hug that I had been needing all day. After I called her cold she flipped it and told me I was verbally attacking her, and being sassy, and if the sass didn't lower she wasn't coming over. Fast forward 5 hours, because that's how long laundry takes I guess, and it's midnight and I finally get her to come over. Having her there and holding her crying for 8 minutes helped sorta, but the fact when I was crying she tried telling me how rude customers at work were to her that day made me cry even more. She also mentioned she lost someone recently who she hung out with at the beach for a summer. I'm sorry, but you can't sit here and compare a 20-year friendship to someone you saw a few times at the beach one summer. The next day, instead of asking how I was, she told me she accidentally bought a new Switch for herself, and I am like, that's nice? Never asking me how I was doing until almost midnight again. I'm unsure how to feel. I understand our relationship is new, but if one of her friends had passed away, I don't care if we have been dating for a day, I'm going to be by your side. Too long did not read. Best friend I've known for 20 years killed himself and my girlfriend doesn't seem to understand why I'm feeling the way I am. I'm really sorry about your friend's death. Suicide is something we never make sense of. With that being said, I think your GF's response is hurtfully underwhelming. Sure, she dated some cold dirtbags in the past, but that has nothing to do with you. Sounds like she has intimacy issues she needs to address on her own. Do you have other friends, family to properly support you through this difficult time? How about your friend's family? I'd tell her you need some space to grieve. Lower your expectations of her to give yourself some peace. Lean into those offering sincere comfort. Again, I'm very sorry for your loss. Everyone here is addressing the main concerns, but how do you accidentally buy a Nintendo Switch? That's not an accident, it's a several $100 purchase. I'm so sorry about your friend. What a tragedy. Doesn't matter how long you've been dating. She's been your friend for 5 years and she talked about laundry, customers, and a Switch? Where's her compassion? You deserve better. And now you know how cold of a person she is. You're not going to change that. Move on with your life from her. This has nothing to do with the relationship being new. She doesn't care how you feel, and besides claiming she's more affected by it, she's making everything about her. Cat toys and laundry can wait. Complaining about work can wait. Comparing 2 very different deaths can wait. Leave her behind. Find someone who has emotions. I'm very sorry for your loss. Sad face. Ditch her, man. Please do yourself a favor, you deserve better than that shit. Your girlfriend lacks any sense of empathy. Do with that info what you will. I am so sorry about your friend. That is a tragic story and I'm sure you are hurting. I'm not sure your girlfriend has the mental capacity to empathize with the situation. I lost a dear friend on December 23rd. He died of COVID pneumonia. I got sick with COVID and then my now ex-boyfriend did too. 2 days later he's going to work saying COVID isn't a big deal. I dumped him. There were other reasons, but that was the last straw. I hope you find someone who understands your grief and you get clarity on how to proceed with your relationship.